Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Weller and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons. How to use the disguise kit in your Dungeons & Dragons 5e game. A Dungeon Master and Player Guide on how to use your disguise kit in your Dungeons & Dragons 5e game. You were looking for it, you have found it. A disguise kit costs 25 gold pieces from a specialist supplier in a city, a thieves guild, or even a theatre shop where you buy makeup and costumes and stuff like that. The components of a disguise kit include cosmetics, hair dye, small props, and a few pieces of clothing. You don't need a magical spell to disguise yourself. A disguise kit is more than adequate. Anybody can have and use a disguise kit, but being proficient with a disguise kit means you can do a lot more things and be more effective with it. There are 4 skills and an ability check that you will most likely use most of the time when making any kind of check using your disguise kit. That is Deception, Intimidation, Persuasion, Performance, and the Charisma ability. The Deception skill. In certain circumstances and cases, a disguise can improve your ability to weave a convincing lie or lies. Characters can pretend to be a city guard, officials, nobles, an important NPC or non-player character. A difficulty class or DC for these checks is usually not needed, but you could just go with a contest between Deception and Insight or a Wisdom check. I'm going to give you 2 DCs you can use as an example if you do not want to use a contest. A DC 10, this is a deception check to cover injuries like bruises and scratches, or any kind of distinguishing mark like tattoos and moles if you want to cover them up so people can't see them. A DC 20 deception check to copy a humanoid's appearance. The Intimidation skill. The right disguise can make you look more fearsome. Whether you want to scare someone away by posing as a plague victim or intimidate a gang of thugs by taking on the appearance of a knight. Examples could be something like a zombie, a ghost, a king or a queen, or a soldier. A difficulty class or DC for these checks is usually just going to be a contest between intimidation and your insight or wisdom check. But if you want a DC or difficulty class rather than using a contest, here are some samples. A DC 15 intimidation check is to pry information out of a street thug or a prisoner that you have held. A DC 20 intimidation check will force an official to sign a document or scare a guard into letting you pass through the gates. A DC 25 intimidation check will frighten a creature larger than yourself into fleeing or stop a lynch mob from lynching somebody. The Performance skill. A cunning disguise can enhance an audience enjoyment of a performance, provided that that disguise or dress is properly designed to invoke the desired reaction. Examples can be, and when I say disguise, really what I mean is dress up. Examples such as a clown, a magician, an actor, a musician, a juggler, or a bard. And of course the bard covers many different things. Here are some sample DCs you could use in your game. A DC 10 performance check telling a story around a tavern or around a campfire. A DC 15 performance check would be to deliver an inspiring speech and perform an impressive musical display. A DC 20 performance check is to perform a memorable and entertaining show that makes you famous. And a DC 25 performance check attracts the attention of an extraplanar being or even the gods. The Persuasion skill. Folk tend to trust a person in uniform. If you disguise or dress yourself up as an authority figure, your efforts to persuade others are often more effective. Examples can be a guard, a librarian, a wizard, a priest, a soldier, or a monk. I need to make it clear here that what you're trying to do is not actually disguise yourself. You are accentuating what you already are. So if you are a monk, then dress up more monkish. If you are a cleric, then dress up like an official priest. Here are some sample DCs for the Persuasion check. DC 10 Persuasion. Convince a mayor to allow your party to help in a pinch, or to calm down a distraught person. A DC 15 persuasion check is to persuade highway thieves to leave peacefully. A DC 20 persuasion check is to convince a chamberlain to let you see the king or queen or rally the townsfolk against a force. A DC 25 persuasion check is to convince a sphinx you're worthy of a secret that they hold, or assure a dragon that you're worth leaving alive rather than just killing and eating. Spotting a disguise being used by someone else is a DC 15 perception or insight check. This only applies if you don't use a skill or ability contest. A charisma ability check can be substituted for any skill check when using your disguise kit. Proficiency in the disguise kit gives a bonus to any skill or ability check to visually disguise a creature, add their proficiency modifier to the roll, or apply advantage to that roll. If a character already has proficiency in that skill, you could, or even to an ability check, you could simply consider stacking that proficiency bonus or use advantage on that check. Don't assume that only a dice roll is required to use a disguise kit, even when you're making a skill or ability check, like deception, intimidation, persuasion, or performance. Dungeon masters can still require specific dialogue from your character when using your disguise kit or your ability check. Creating a disguise. As part of a long rest, you can create a disguise. It takes you 1 minute to don such a disguise once you have created it. You can carry only one such disguise on you at a time without drawing undue attention, unless you have a bag of holding or some sort of similar method to keep it hidden. Each disguise weighs 1 pound. At all other times, it takes 10 minutes to craft a disguise that involves moderate changes to your appearance, and 30 minutes for one that requires more extensive changes. Please bear in mind that when you're making your disguise kit during your long rest, it's only going to be taking you 2 hours. It doesn't take you the full 8 hours. 6 of those hours are spent sleeping. The disguise kit proficiency might give you additional skills and knowledge, such as blending into a crowd, distracting monsters, understanding creatures and how they hide. Now, this isn't necessarily covered by the proficiency in the disguise kit. This is just something that you will have to decide as a dungeon master. It's something that dungeon masters can consider, but they do not have to do. What does Sage Advice tell us about the disguise kit? Well, unfortunately, very little. But unless a feature states otherwise, the proficiency bonus for a disguise kit is only added once to a skill or ability check, so you can't stack your proficiency bonus more than once on any kind of check you make. Reference books for the disguise kit. The Player's Handbook, see pages 154 and also 178 through to 179. You can also check out Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and on page 81 you will have far more information on how to use your disguise kit. Now, if you found this useful, great. I have a live stream that goes into far more detail on this topic if you're interested. If you like my stuff, I have hundreds of videos for players and dungeon masters that cover every aspect of Dungeons & Dragons and Dungeons & Dragons 5e. If you want to support the channel so I keep doing video content like this, you can through Patreon, the Amazon affiliate links down in the description, the merchandise shelf underneath all of my videos, or just watch my videos, that's fine too. Make sure to do the usual YouTube things like share, like and subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.